Okay, so this is a paste of Aaron Traylor's Miraidon team, which he used to get top 8 in Indianapolis recently. And of course, he built it with Rajan Ball, who used a similar team to win the entire tournament. So you got. I'll go through the team in a second, but first, I'm doing this as I start to think ahead to NAIC. And my feeling going into this is that I'm fairly certain I'm not bringing Miraidon. There are a couple of other restricted Pokemon that I'm more interested in right now, but Aaron and Rajan successfully proved their case that Miraidon is a busted offensive threat. This team absolutely grabbed my attention in the tournament, as it did for a lot of people, because their Miraidon just ran through high-level competition. And I think that it's an idea that I should at least take seriously, and should at least give a little bit of a go myself before I write it off in my own NAIC prep. So I have Aaron's version of the team here instead of Rajan's, and the main reason is the Ditto in the 6th Pokemon slot. Actually, you can just barely see that. Okay. Ditto is a Pokemon that I've been thinking about a lot, not so much with specific team compositions as just in the abstract. It's a Pokemon that I've considered for a lot of my Reg G teams so far, but often found hard to justify because, of course, although it has enormous potential, especially in a restricted format, being able to copy any opposing Pokemon and do almost anything, potentially, not actually limitless potential, but probably the closest thing in the game. It also has a very low floor, and it's different from any other Pokemon in that there's not really a specific role that you can commit it to in every game, so it can be hard to fit into a team. But I'm interested in Ditto overall, and I'm definitely interested in a team like this with a lot of offensive threats and pivoting potential with the Miraidon and the Incineroar. Aaron didn't bring Ditto to his streamed games, and I've read his team report, which I'll definitely link, and didn't get the greatest sense from it of when and how he uses Ditto, but I'm definitely hoping to try it out in this game. I won't try to explain the team because I'll just link Aaron's team report, which explains it much better, of course, from the creator. But basically, max special attack, Terra Electric Specs Miraidon just goes crazy into most of the meta and can pivot around with Volt Switch. It's protected from priority by Farigiraf. It gets Tailwind support from Whimsicott, as well as Encore, as well as Moonblast targeting Dragon types, although even electric resistances don't hold up very well against this Miraidon set in electric terrain. Blood Moon Ursaluna can sit next to Discharge Miraidon and can throw off strong attacks of its own, buffed by Tailwind, or supported by the Farigiraf. And then Incineroar is good, and the Ditto I've talked about already. So we'll just hop on the ladder really quickly. Basic ground rules here. I'll do my standard play until I lose 3 games. I'll do best of 1 to save time, and because this is sort of vaguely tournament prep as well as content, I will accept open team sheets every time, though of course it's then up to my opponent's decision. So right off the bat we have a Shadow Rider Calyrex Tailwind team. And I don't actually know that I know the best way to approach this matchup. I guess this is there's a pretty solid case for Ditto right here into the Calyrex, or even the Chi-Yu. The Miraidon is iffy because Calyrex... Is Shadow Rider Calyrex faster than Miraidon? I think it is. Yeah, it has a higher base speed at least. And of course my Miraidon is modest. The fake out from the Raichu is an issue unless I do happen to copy the Calyrex. I think I'm going to lead Ditto Whimsicott and hope that I happen to catch the Calyrex. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. Bring Miraidon in the back, and I could do Farigiraf to protect from the Raichu's fake out. Actually, Raichu is a huge problem, now that I think about it. I'm going to bring Ursaluna. I just glossed right over the Raichu, but that definitely has Lightning Rod, because that's why you run Raichu. And Miraidon does have Draco Meteor, but otherwise it's all in on electric attacks. And of course, this team is extremely well known now. The Raichu could even be their Miraidon counter. It could be Terra Fairy for all I know. But let's see if we're very lucky here, as we are not. I forgot that to be honest, I forgot that their first slot is reversed from mine. I wanted to catch the Pokemon in their first slot, because I thought that was where the Calyrex was most likely to be. But I forgot that I needed to put Ditto in my second slot to do that. At least we can see the Raichu's set. Presumably it has a Focus Sash if it's doing Endeavor quick attack stuff. We're not gonna... Yeah, of course we have Imposter. We knew that. So I'll just fake out the Raichu, I guess, and set Tailwind. But I don't have much of a play here, do I? Actually, that was very foolish of me. Because now I've locked my Ditto into Fake Out. And that, I mean, that Expanding Force just nukes my team. The good news is... there's not a lot of good news. Oh, well, I can go Miraidon here. I'll be faster in the Tailwind. I have the Electric Terrain up. And what I can do is Terra Electric, Discharge, switch to Ursaluna. They can get the Raichu in, but I can't redirect Discharge because that's a spread attack. So I can still get a big hit on whichever of these stays in, even if they do switch to the Raichu. I do give Raichu a special attack boost, but I think we can live with that, especially with the Ursaluna coming in. So here's the Raichu. They protect the Calyrex, so unfortunately this Discharge will only give the Raichu a boost and not accomplish anything else. They can pivot the Indeedee back in here, but I feel like I have to go for the Discharge anyway. But the other thing that I can do is throw off a Hyper Voice. They also can fake out either of my Pokemon with the Raichu. But I can throw off a Hyper Voice here, try to get the big spread damage. And if they do pivot to Indeedee, then they either give up their offense from Calyrex, or they give up the option of Fake Out. So potentially I do get off 2 huge hits here, as instead they flinch my Miraidon. I wonder whether Blood Moon into the Calyrex was safer. The Calyrex also went before my Miraidon and Tailwind just now, so it might be a Scarf set. I feel like that's the most reasonable interpretation of that, as I am... I mean, I think I lose this, but I'm going to try to Encore the Calyrex. If it lets me do that, then it's locked into Astral Barrage, and it can't hurt Ursaluna. Of course, it can Protect, or they can switch in Indeedee, but, you know, trying to make plays here, and I'll throw off another Hyper Voice. They do protect the Calyrex. It's not the end of the world if I also get to lock it into that, but I don't because of the Raichu's Quick Attack. So it is a rough start here. And Aaron Traylor did warn in his team report that, and really, I mean, I think anyone could have seen it coming, that the meta was going to adapt to this team. We'll just go down to Expanding Force here, but we'll let them play it out. I always prefer to actually land the big finishing attack instead of my opponent forfeiting. It doesn't cost us much time here, so we do lose our first game, but we'll keep going. Anyway, yeah, he does say in the team report that the meta is, of course, going to adjust to Miraidon. Miraidon is extremely strong, but there are ways to answer it. We saw the Raichu there. There are things like Tinglu, bulkier sets and stuff. And it did do the gimmicky Ditto lead thing in that last game and also mess it up. So, can't be too upset here. Okay, the Landorus is an issue for Miraidon, but we certainly lead it here, and we try to play our Volt Switch game. I think we lead it with the Whimsicott again. I think we bring... Do we bring Furigraph to this game? What does Furigraph do here? Terra Ground, Terra Blast. I mean, it blocks... Tornadus doesn't usually run prankster moves to target the opponent except Taunt. And we're not that worried about Taunt here, but we don't want to let our Whimsicott get taunted. I think we probably bring Furigraph, and I will not learn my lesson and just bring Ditto again. I don't love Ursaluna here, I think, but what do I know? What is... You can have emojis and nicknames? I guess I see no reason why not, but it's new to me. Okay, well, I'll just Volt Switch the Torn and go for Tailwind. Should be faster than the Landorus unless it's Scarfed, even if they get their own Tailwind up. Actually, can they taunt me here? No. Whimsicott is guaranteed faster than Tornadus. Okay. That's good indirection to know. If we do both Tailwind, and then I get the Volt Switch and just annihilate the Tornadus. Now I have to bring something in on this Landorus. I don't hate Ditto, but chances are the Landorus doesn't have much coverage for itself. I don't hate Furigraph either. I'll go Ditto. It's pretty safe, probably a pretty safe switch in for the same reason that it's not really much of an offensive threat into its own copying victim here. As, yeah, we do just avoid the Earth Power with the flying typing. They get their Horse Palkia in here. I see I have Sludge Wave, Earth Power, Protect, and Sandseer Storm. This team, I guess it's a manual rain team with Rain Dance on the Tornadus. This team looks like it wants rain, but it doesn't have a Pelipper or a Politoed or a Kyogre. But of course, they can't set Rain Dance now. I guess I'll just do what I can to threaten the Palkia. I don't know that it will like Earth Power and Moonblast. They Terra the Landorus. They must be looking to get rid of my Landorus this turn, and they'll get a chance to do it as we don't quite KO the Palkia. We do get the special attack drop, but I do think I lose my Ditto here, unless... No, they went for Earth Power into Whimsicott. Okay, so Ditto survives and can now threaten their Landorus with Earth Power. That's pretty big. I also can throw off a Discharge with Miraidon because my Ditto is a ground type and their Landorus is not a ground type. So I can just Earth Power the Landorus slot and Discharge. I'll even Terra Electric Discharge. And how is that for a silly interaction here? As actually the Earth Power just wipes it out. Discharge finishes Palkia. What do they have in the back? It's their Wellspring Mask Ogerpon. I might as well preserve Ditto. Get the Electric Seed boost on Farigiraf. And I don't really care about hitting it with Discharge. And Ditto can come in and threaten the Ogerpon with its own Grass attack. But we don't even get that far, as the Discharge just deletes both of the other Pokemon on the field. And that's Miraidon for you. that's how Specs Miraidon plays. That's how it won Indianapolis. So that was better than the first game for sure. But like I said, we'll keep going until we lose 2 more. This person doesn't have a restricted Pokemon. They do have some Trick Room threats and some bulky threats. But Specs Miraidon is not that bothered about bulky threats, I think. At least on paper. I don't know if I forgot to accept open team sheets last game. My bad if I did. But I can lead Miraidon here pretty safely. Okay. Swords Dance Wellspring Mask Ogerpon. Iggy Incineroar, a really weird Garganacl, but I do have to take the Salt Cure seriously. Nasty Plot Goldango, Terra Fairy. A Brute Bonnet that wants to be an Amoonguss, and Porygon 2. Okay. I'll lead Miraidon with Whimsicott. I don't think I need the Tailwind here, but the threat of Encore is still pretty good. I'll bring Farigiraf in the back so I can switch that in on the Incineroar. Block Fake Out. And I'll bring Ursaluna, I think. The team report says that this was Aaron Traylor's main mode with this team. The Garganacl is Terra Steel, so it doesn't want to take a Volt Switch, I'm pretty sure. Encore probably doesn't work on Goldango, right? I would assume. So I can't just lock it into Nasty Plot. I have to be alert to that. But I think what I'll do is I'll Volt Switch the Garganacl, and I'll protect Whimsicott, and then I can bring Ursaluna in, and next turn I can Tailwind Earth Power or something like that. We do just delete the Garganacl. We'll get Ursaluna in here for free because the Goldango protected. As they go for Incineroar, so now they have access to Fake Out. I'm not as keen to Tailwind. I think I would rather Earth Power, Goldango, and switch to Farigiraf. Should be okay. Should still get the Earth Power off without too much trouble. As they just go for Make It Rain, unboosted. It still does a lot of damage, and they didn't Fake Out, so that's... We'll have to see what the Incineroar does here, but we did get rid of their biggest threat in the Goldango. They Parting Shot into Farigiraf, which is, needless to say, not the right target. Here, the Porygon 2 can set up Trick Room, but I don't think I'm too bothered about that. And certainly I'm not bothered about a Fake Out with Farigiraf on the field, so I'm going to go for Blood Moon. I'm just going to do Helping Hand Blood Moon into the Porygon 2. I don't know the calc, but denying Trick Room would be nice. Let's see what my opponent comes up with. They take their time here. Oh, it only does 70%. They get rid of my Ursaluna. But they don't go for Trick Room, which I think is a mistake, because I think I can just win with Miraidon now. Once again, I don't care about nuking my own Farigiraf. I will just discharge, and I'll even give it a helping hand. And that should take everything out, I think. Yeah. So now we're starting to see the power of this team after a rough first game. This is how this works. We are very low on the ladder because I don't really use this account except for content, but hey, if we keep winning, we'll climb. This person is Zamazenta, Melodic, Tinglu. Nope, not accepting challenges. I'm just doing some ladder content here. Zamazenta, Melodic, Tinglu, Rillaboom, Clefairy, and Incineroar. So this person is trying to prepare for Miraidon, along with like every other threat in the meta. I feel like this team was not built with Tinglu in mind, which is fair, because Tinglu is probably a reaction to Miraidon. This is probably what Aaron was talking about when he said that the meta will adapt to this team, and it will be a lot harder for it to just delete things all the way to a trophy. Yeah, I really don't know what to do here. I can lead Whimsicott Miraidon anyway, and if they lead Tinglu, then I know what target to Volt Switch into. And then I think I'll bring Ursaluna, and I'll bring... do I like Ursaluna here? I do. I think I do. Not into the Rillaboom, but Undertale when it hits other things hard. And I'll bring Ditto, and see if I can make something happen with Ditto, because I don't really have a great plan here. So, Ditto can be a multi-purpose emergency button. I'm gonna save my Terra for now, because I'm not sure. I might want to use it on the Ursaluna. But I will Volt Switch into the Melodic. And I'll just try to chip the Tinglu with Moonblast if I can. They give me Rillaboom here. Without the Electric Terrain, the Moonblast, the Volt Switch does not too much damage, although that's still a quarter to Rillaboom in Grassy Terrain with Tinglu. That's not nothing. I don't have a good switch into this. Maybe it's a pretty good case for having brought the Incineroar right here. Probably should have done that. The Tinglu, that Moonblast did a lot of damage with 2 Tinglu on the field. I assume their abilities stack, right? They go for Snarl. Okay. But yeah, I don't think I found the right game plan here. But I can try to just Fissure. I can just try a Fissure into their Tinglu. Why not? And I'll protect Whimsicott here. Obviously, I can't protect Ditto, so they can fake that out pretty easily. But they just go for Woodhammer, and they knock out my Ditto. Maybe I should have gone for Terra Ghost Fissure. I don't know. But this is looking pretty bad. I'm not gonna lie. I will use the Terra on Ursaluna to take away its grass weakness. Almost said the right type there. And there's not really anything I want to Encore. I'll Tailwind here. Make sure the Ursaluna goes first, barring a Grassy Glide. That actually knocks out the Rillaboom, but it doesn't do very much to what I assume is an Assault Vest Tinglu. And yeah, AV Tinglu with Snarl is just... I mean, that's just probably the best answer to this team, so... What can you do? Maybe if I'd positioned better, I could have gotten off a Fissure into that, or I could have done something with Incineroar, but... is what it is. I'll just Blood Moon the Tinglu and Moonblast and hope that I get some Miracle Crit. That Blood Moon actually did a lot without a crit. Of course, I can't use it again this turn, and they nerf my special attack again. But this is the game plan right now. I just keep hitting the Tinglu in the hope that I get some luck and get rid of it, and then Miraidon can finish their team off. It's not the worst game plan ever, and I think it's my out at this point. I'm not sure what my opponent is playing towards. They took their time a little bit there. But that doesn't take out the Tinglu, unsurprisingly. Grassy Terrain is about to go, and they missed Fissure there. We'll just Moonblast, Blood Moon, the Tinglu. Yeah, I still don't want to lock these Pokemon into what they're using right now necessarily, so Encore is off the table. Also, I can't use it on the Tinglu anyway, because that's a Dark type. But I don't really see much advantage. I mean, I guess if I lock it into Fissure, it's not using Snarl, but neither one is great for me right now. Oh, 3%, so close. But they didn't... Okay, they did knock out the Ursaluna, which isn't great. They didn't Life Dew. Assuming Whimsicott still is faster than Tinglu, and I would expect so. I can take it out pretty safely with Moonblast here, and I can Electro Drift into the Melodic. And this might still be winnable. Don't know what my opponent's thinking. They might be looking up some smart counter to this. They didn't Terra yet, did they? Nope, it's Terra Grass Melodic. Electro Drift does a lot of damage, but less than half, which isn't ideal. Terra Electric would have done more than half. But I used the Terra on Ursaluna already. And here's the Zamazenta. I can Tailwind to try to play around the Icy Wind and hope that... what's it called? Electro Drift into Zamazenta goes absolutely crazy. I kind of feel like... I know Jamie... I haven't watched the Stockholm streams yet, but I know Jamie Boyd paired Miraidon with Fake Tears Grimmsnarl. Whimsicott, of course, also gets Fake Tears. And I don't know that there's any move on this set that I would drop for it, but I do kind of feel like in some positions it would be nice to have. But Moonblast, Protect, Tailwind, Encore, all pretty important to this team. I'm not saying that it's wrong to not have... Ooh, well, that was good for me. I'm not saying... In fact, I can just lock it into Life Dew here, and I think I can still overpower that with the Electro Drift. I'm not saying that as Encore shows its value here, and actually all four of Whimsicott's moves showed their value in this game. So I'm definitely not saying that it's wrong to not have Fake Tears. That probably is the correct call, but Fake Tears might be interesting is all I'm saying. Anyway, we burned a Citrus Berry there, and yeah, we're pretty easily out-damaging the Life Dew recovery, so we do actually win this game. Despite a rough matchup into the Tinglu. Oh, it has competitive, but of course it can't attack. And this will do it. GG. And we keep going. Yeah, look at how strong Miraidon is. I was, for sure, like, I know a lot of people were sleeping on it before Indianapolis. I absolutely was sleeping on it. I tried it on some bad Paradox teams, like I think most people did. And, yeah, I was sleeping on what it can really do. It kind of reminds me in a way of the Articuno team that I've featured before. But I'm going to figure out what to lead into this, because I only have about a minute before I elaborate on that. Koraidon, Incineroar, Amoonguss, Raging Bolt, Flutter Mane, Farigiraf, our first Raging Bolt of the video. Miraidon. I think it's still Miraidon, Whimsicott, Farigiraf, right? And then I probably like Ursaluna in the back. Maybe Incineroar, but we'll do this. Yeah, so the reason, as a lot of smarter YouTubers than me have explained, the reason that the Articuno team works and isn't just a silly gimmick is that we're just going to do our basic Terra Tailwind Volt switch here. That it just stacks up so many multipliers and benefits from the snow in so many different ways. It gets the Ice type defense buff. It's already naturally a very specially bulky Pokemon. It oh, they just forfeit. Okay. The Articuno gets Snow Cloak for a chance to dodge, and its Blizzard is buffed with Strong Spread Attack with a chance to freeze. It just has so many mechanics that it's piling up that it eventually becomes overwhelming and is legitimately good, as we see here. What I think is a pretty standard take on a Calyrex Ice, or Shadow Rider Calyrex Ice Spam team here. Anyway, Miraidon reminds me of that in that it has Electric Terrain, Hadron Engine Boost, Choice Specs, Terra Electric, the buff if it's super effective on Electro Drift, and all of that just piles up into such an overwhelming busted Pokemon. I feel like I've learned a fair bit between those two teams on what to look for in a tournament team going forward. Although, again, as much fun as I'm having here, I am leaning against Miraidon for NAIC. Although maybe by the end of the video I'll be rethinking that. I don't know. We'll get the Ditto... I think we'll go ahead and get the Ditto thing right this time. Actually, I will bring Ditto, but I'll bring it in the back. I don't know if they want to lead their Tornadus. If they do, then okay, they kind of boomed me. But then I can bring whichever normal type I think is best here. Maybe I should bring both and drop the Ditto. But I'll just bring Farigiraf, and we'll see how it goes. If I'm playing this matchup wrong, I'm playing it wrong. Live and learn. That's the point of practice, right? As we go, okay, Miraidon Whimsicott into... They do bring the Tornadus, but it's with the Ogerpon, not the Calyrex. So Miraidon should be faster than this, I think. And I am happy to Terra Volt Switch into the Ogerpon and set my Tailwind. They go for Follow Me, so I will be targeting the Ogerpon regardless. The taunt arrives a little bit too late. Ogerpon takes the Volt Switch pretty well. It is a grass type, but honestly I thought that might KO. Here, I'll just go for Farigiraf. I don't love bringing Ditto into the possible Bleak Windstorm from the Tornadus. And I can throw off a Foul Play into the Ogerpon slot. Chi-Yu doesn't care about that, but not much else wants to take it. And I kind of have to Moonblast, so let's break a potential Sash on the Torn, as actually we'll get the Moonblast into Ogerpon, but that's okay. Actually, I guess I could have pivoted Whimsicott out there. But hey, my pivoting skills have their limits sometimes. Definitely don't want to just raw switch Ditto in on this, so I will go for a Foul Play into the Calyrex, and... Well, there's not really anything that I do want to switch in, is the problem. I'll just Moonblast the Calyrex slot. Might have a Focus Sash. Terra Dark, so the Foul Play is not such a great call, but the Moonblast will do some damage. Of course, we survive with our Focus Sash. If Farigiraf had gone for Terra Blast there, I might be in a much better position. Although here, of course, the Indeedee can mess me up with Follow Me. But this is the last turn of my Tailwind. They then get one more turn of their Tailwind. They can also pivot the Torn back in. What I'm saying is I can try to position for a Ditto endgame here. I'm not sure I know how to do it. But we'll give it a go. I'll try to Terra Blast or Moonblast the Calyrex. I think they follow me here. They actually don't, but they do just take out both my Pokemon, of course. And yeah, I guess I played this wrong, although I don't know the better way to play it, because now they have Tailwind and I don't, and they just win here, I think. But yeah, I don't know what the better way to handle this was, unfortunately. I guess if I pivot the Whimsicott out earlier when I called out that I could have. As they do let me take out their Calyrex, actually, but it doesn't matter. The Indeedee just wins from here, I think. We'll play it out. I don't know what happens if we get into a struggle game. But yeah, I guess that was it. I guess I needed to preserve the Whimsicott, and I could have gotten Miraidon in pretty safely earlier than I did. Although I'm not sure what the game looks like from there. We take out the Tornadus, and the Indeedee does have an attack. A pretty annoying one at that. And all I can do anyway is try to get rid of my Astral Barrage PP. So yeah, we definitely lose this one. Right? I don't think there's a way to win. I guess locking into Pollen Puff was the play there, although that loses to Tornadus. So, well, maybe it doesn't. Ditto has a lot of boosts. I guess the only play I had there was to lock into Pollen Puff instead of Astral Barrage, but live and learn. That is loss number 2, so we'll play until we lose one more. Hopefully it won't be for a little bit, because I'm having fun with this team for sure. This one is Regieleki. And, at the same time, Ice Rider and Farigiraf. They're cooking something. I wonder if the Regieleki has Eerie Impulse. We're just gonna find out, I guess. We'll lead our favorite guys. We'll bring Farigiraf for sure to block a possible Fake Out. Have I brought Incineroar a single time yet? I don't think I have, and I think that's something I'm sleeping on with this team. I don't know if this is the game for it, but we'll try. I don't love Ursaluna here. I don't hate Ursaluna here. I mean, they do have a Regieleki, but... Hey, they lead Wellspring Mask Ogerpon with Incineroar. I will just go for... I'll go for the Volt Switch into Incineroar, and I'll switch to Farigiraf, so that they can't block that with Fake Out. They can redirect it with Follow Me, but I'm okay with that. As that's not what they go for. And the Incineroar just drops. Of course, that's how it goes with this team. I'll pivot Whimsicott back in. It maybe makes me a little bit passive, but I can lock the Ogerpon into Swords Dance so that it can't attack out of that, so that's something. Of course, I then have to get rid of it, but I do have the Foul Play on Farigiraf. So I can Encore. It should get a Swords Dance again before Farigiraf moves, and then Farigiraf can blast it with Foul Play. That said, there's this horse story about too. But I can reverse Trick Room if they let me. I'm going to make the play that I said and hope that I figure the horse out from there. As, yeah, Foul Play takes out the Ogre. They just go for Glacial Lance, actually. Which is not the worst thing. Their Farigiraf means that I can't Encore them. I'm not sure that I want to anyway. I can pivot my Incineroar in, and I can Foul Play the Calyrex. It looks like Farigiraf will take another... Oh, they don't even have a Clear Amulet on it. Farigiraf comfortably takes another Glacial Lance. It's a Life Orb Calyrex. And sure, they get their Trick Room up, but... What's to stop me from knockoff... Well, okay, they forfeit. That's what's to stop me from making any play. Fair enough. Got me there. Okay, we got a Terapagos team. It looks like Terapagos offense. Actually, I've seen more of these teams lately that look like kind of a weird compromise between Terapagos offense and setup Terapagos, but I would guess from what I see here that it's a spec set, probably. But with the Ogerpon and the Amoonguss, I'm not 100% certain. Conline teams do around Tailwind Tornadus. We'll lead with our lead, and Incineroar's pretty good here. For sure. They rejected open team sheets, so that's interesting. The mystery is preserved, to the extent that there is one. I'm trying to decide whether to lead Whimsicott or Incineroar here. I think Whimsicott, so that I can meet Tailwind with Tailwind. I don't feel that strongly about bringing Farigiraf. I'll definitely bring my Incineroar. I'll bring Ditto. It's not the worst thing if I copy Landorus or Chi-Yu. Okay. Another opponent leads with their ground type, which means I know what to target with Volt Switch. Although, the Chi-Yu could have Protect. I feel like a lot of Chi-Yu don't, though. And I'm willing to gamble on it, but I won't Terra just yet. But I will Tailwind and Volt Switch to the Chi-Yu slot. They let me do it, and Chi-Yu is gone. And I'll bring Ditto in to try to dodge an Earth Power. Yep, that works again. That's a good use for Ditto right there. Here's the Ogre Pawn. I can Encore the Landorus, make it very non-threatening into my Ditto, and Sludge Bomb their Ogre Pawn. I kind of like that play, I think. Of course, Whimsicott also resists Earth Power. Okay, they take Ditto out. That's not great, because at this point my best tool into Landorus is Draco Meteor from Miraidon. I think I'm just going to go for it here. I think there's a good chance that they'll let me. I'm not too worried about an attack from the Ogre Pawn, and I can then pivot Miraidon out and back in. I'll Moonblast the Ogre Pawn. They actually don't let me just Draco Meteor their Landorus, which is good. They shouldn't. I just kind of hoped they would. Oh my god, that crit, with a crit that did so much damage. I think I just Draco the... I think I just go for the Draco again, right? It'll get some recovery with... well, it'll get some recovery effectively when it terrestrializes. And some extra bulk. And I lose my Hadron Engine boost. So this might be a bad play. I don't know. I'm going to lock the Ogre Pawn into Spiky Shield. And hope that this Draco Meteor KOs. Would be nice. -2, though. Oh, 1%. Ah. Oh, well. Terra Starstorm takes out Whimsicott, so Miraidon is now stuck. Locked into Draco Meteor with the drops, and that's probably game losing right there. Hopefully I can take Terrapagos out with Fake Out. Okay, probably should have known they wouldn't let me do that. And here, I mean... yeah, I mean, the Terra Grass avoids Earth Power one time and then loses the Sludge Bomb. I don't have a better use for my Terra type here. They did just land a Spiky Shield, so potentially I can get rid of... but I'm so far behind at this point. Potentially I can get rid of the Ogre Pawn here. Draco Meteor still did some respectable damage. But Miraidon is gone, and it's Incineroar against the world. And I've made myself weak to Sludge Bomb, although again the alternative is being weak to Earth Power. Alright, what do I target here? I'm going to target the Landorus and hope that it's a really slow Terrapagos. Which it isn't. Actually, that targeting choice didn't matter at all. Also, since I was terrestrialized, I was weak to Terra Starstorm. I wasn't accounting for that properly. Alright, so not my best gameplay, and I think we can see even on the low ladder that the meta has adjusted some to this team. But it is a lot of fun when it just cooks everything in some games. I probably am just going to go back to other restricted Pokemon and other team compositions that I think are of more interest to me for an AIC, but had to give this one a go. I enjoyed it. Hope you did too if you're watching. See you next time.